What have you made of Ollie Turton recently?
Oh, I
Because I
like him
have
now.
to say, I think it's been a lot better.
I like him. I like him. Yeah.
Christopher Schindler has a chance to write his name in Huddersfield Town legend. And he takes that chance!
Time to get a sneak peek at the game in midweek. Welcome to the warm-up episode 60. Joining me, your host, Brady Frost, is Tom Bradshaw, and we're joined by Josh Phillips today. How are you both?
All right, Brady.
Yeah, very good, thanks.
Good to hear. Good to hear the OGs. Been here since day one, so that's what we like to hear. But boys, allow me to set the scene. It's a Wednesday night. It's going to be under the lights, and Huddersfield Town will be entertaining a Cardiff City side that are picking up under Steve Morison, despite them sitting towards the end of the table. So what surprised me about this one, I was looking into our recent history against Cardiff, and it's quite atrocious, really. We haven't beaten them since 2003, and we've lost the 3 of the last 4 matches against them. The most recent of which, I'm sure we all know, was the 2-1 defeat, where Kiefer Moore scored that 93rd minute winner. So anyway, Cardiff, they're actually one of the most informed teams in the league heading into this one. They've picked up some recent wins against Coventry, Forest, Barnsley and Peterborough. Barnsley and Peterborough, not exactly great shakes, but anyway, wins a win. Josh, I'll come to you. I suppose I've kind of led you there with my opener a bit, but despite them being lower mid-table, it's not as easy a game as you think it might be on first glance, is it?
No, it won't be an easy game by any stretch. But within that good run they've had, they did lose away at Millwall, which maybe the blueprint for beating them at home with us as the home team. I mean, but yeah, they have really picked up recently. Steve Morison, I don't know if he's got the job full time. I think he's in the running for it. I'm not sure if he's got it yet, but I don't know whether it's a new manager bounce or if he's doing something tactically different. But either way, it's not going to be an easy game. However, I think it's one we should be looking to win if we are serious about top 6. Just having a quick look through the squad, they've got a couple of their best players this season that have moved on. Ryan Giles and Kiefer Moore, and also Sean Morrison. I think he's ruled out for the rest of the season with a bad injury. So won't be easy, no, but I think we can win.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, Tom, I'm going to touch on what Josh said there, because in terms of their away form, they've only won 1 of their last 6. So is Josh right? Is this a game Town have to win, really?
Yeah. So we're recording this before we played Fulham, but I think regardless of whatever we have got against Fulham, I think we need to win it because, like you said, their form's not great. Josh mentioned about the Millwall game. I think that's spot on. And when they played Barnsley, they won that game 1-0 with only 5 shots. So you've got to be looking at, if you're only creating that many chances against that Barnsley side away, Town have got to be looking at this as a good chance to get 3 points here. I touch on what Josh said about their squad. They've got some good players in that squad. I look at that squad. I think it's quite an old school kind of championship squad, if that makes sense. A lot of big lads who know their way around the championship. But also you've just got to laugh at the fact that Flint is he their joint top scorer? I think
he might be. Yeah. Giant, bigger.
I don't get why he's not a striker anyway. He seems to score all the time. But yeah, 5 goals I think it was. So if Town can stop them doing anything, then come on, we've got to be picking up 3 points.
Yeah, I mean, you touched on the squad, so I suppose we'll just come to key players, really, Tom. Who do you pick out? Are you picking Flint, or are you going for someone else? Someone smaller, a normal size person?
A little bit smaller, but then I don't think even he's that small. He's quite a big physical player. I've gone for Jordan Hugo because I think the style of football that they play, I feel like that's what he thrives under as a player. And I just worry about his presence in that side because he's got the quality at this level. He had a bit of a dip. Was it Norwich he went to?
Yes.
He didn't really get.
I feel like he's been to loads.
Yeah, he didn't really get a look in, did he, when he ended up going to Norwich? And I just think he he knows how to score a goal, and they're very direct. And if we can just maybe stop the ball getting into him, you've got so much more of a chance of keeping a clean sheet.
Yeah. I always think, I can't remember what game it was, but I always remember he was quite, when we were watching Town at home, quite elbows out, bit Alan Lee-esque, you could say. Josh, who did you pick as a key player for Cardiff?
Well, there's a few I looked at. Uche Piazzu, they've got him on loan from Middlesbrough. Town fans will remember when he played for Wickham last season, we couldn't handle him. Hopefully, with our sturdy defence now, he won't be as much of a threat. Aidan Flint. One I've gone for is Ruben Colwill. He's a young, one of the only players in the team that's under 6 foot. Young Welsh lad who's come through at Cardiff this season. He's made a big impression. 19 years old. A lot of talk about him as a top Welsh prospect for the future. So, I think he could be one to watch out for. Yeah,
we like a Colwell on this pod, don't we? So that's a good shout there, Josh.
Although, saying that, his Wikipedia says he's 6'2". So I took his height off whoscored.com. So there's every chance I might be wrong there. He might be over 6 foot, just like the rest of them.
Jesus. God, I'm already worrying now.
I know. This team is massive.
Whoscored.com lists him at 5'5". His Wikipedia's got him at 6'2". So one of them is practically wrong.
This man is a certain height. I don't know. We'll have to get the tape measure out, before kickoff.
Yeah,
that's the only way. That sounded. I bet that sounds really weird out of context. Anyway, my key player for Cardiff. I've gone for their left back, which is a bit of an unusual one, just because he's a bit in form at the moment. Joel Bagan. So he plays on the left in a back five. He's got 2 goals recently. So it depends. The reason I picked him is I think it depends on who plays right back for Town or who's covering that area, because they might have to be careful with him. If he's chipping in with goals, might be need to watch. I also picked out Tommy Doyle. So Town fans, that name might ring a bell because we were linked with him this summer. I think Phil actually went as far as saying we were going to sign him, and it broke down with City on BBC Radio Leeds, because I remember people were like, "Ooh, not sure if you could go into this much detail," but he's a tidy midfielder. Was at Hamburg, didn't really work out, but seems to be getting some plaudits, down in Wales. So he's one to watch. So I'm going to jump in because there is a Wales theme here. I'm going to name my Town key player, the Welsh Wizard, as the Town Twitter seems to call him. I've gone for Sorba. I can tell by Tom's face, maybe he picked Sorba as well. No. Oh, okay, okay. Your face deceives me. I've gone for Sorba just because we saw in the Sheffield United game he can get defenders, and they are a bit scared of him now. And I think if their left back Bagan is pushing high, getting behind and cause some trouble. And I just kind of have, it's what you want when you're doing a preview, the feelings, no stats behind it, but I just have a feeling he's playing a Welsh team. He wants to make the Wales squad for the upcoming World Cup playoffs. And I just wonder if this is a Sorba Thomas game where we'll see something special. So I've gone for Sorba for this one. Josh, who did you pick?
Yeah, sort of a similar thinking to you, Brady. Down the right-hand side, there were glimpses in the previous game. Who did we play? God.
Sheffield United?
Yeah, Sheffield United. Sorry, mine went blank.
This is what you want from a preview.
Well, you can pretend we played Fulham, Josh, and make it up. And
yeah. Well, yeah.
What a win it was against Fulham, lads.
Oh, what a great draw / terrible defeat. The lead is appropriate.
Either way, against Sheffield United, as I now remember, there were some good signs in the second half between Pippa and Sorba that I think they can work together. A couple of times they weren't quite on the same wavelength, but I'm going to go with Pippa as my key player for Town. When he came back into the team from injury, he looked a little bit rusty, maybe trying too many things dribbling where it's not appropriate and stuff like that. And then he went off injured against Barnsley, and we all thought, oh no, he's out for a few more weeks. But it was a really promising display from him against Sheffield United, I thought, and hopefully he can keep that going. Should have had a penalty, of course. So yeah, him and Sorba, I think, will be a big threat down the right. So I'm going for Pippa.
Yeah, I think that's a really good pick, Josh. I know when you've been on the pod before, I know you like your right backs. So I suppose I'm going to ask you, what have you made of Ollie Turton recently? Because I have to say, I think it's been a lot better.
I like him. Yeah, you can't fault his effort, and he's definitely improved. So yeah, he's made me eat my words, because at the start of the season I thought he was hopeless. But he's a good option. He's a good backup option as he was brought in for.
Just say it's Gingers, Tom. Who are you?
Just praised him.
Regretted teeth. Who did you pick, Tom, as a key player?
So I'm going off the kind of physical presence they're going to have throughout that team, and for me, I think Matt Pearson's got to be on his top game just to basically win everything in the air for Town and stop them winning anything. Because I watched the highlights from their game against Barnsley. They weren't very good, but they started with Hugel and Water. Is it Water? He's been non-league quite one of those good risers, actually, that lad.
Max Waters.
Yeah, that's it. And they started with Hugel and Water, and then I think it wasn't working, so they brought in Ikpeazu on, and you could see his physicality against Barnsley. They struggled against him. Like, he held it up, looked like he held it up really well, and for the goal, he basically, I think he picked it up in the penalty box and held it for about 20 minutes, it seemed like, and then found the bottom corner. So I'm going with Pearson. Just make sure he's physically on it, he's winning everything, and just limiting them from kind of bringing it down, knocking it down, or even getting a shot off from a. I'm going to be one of those maybe football snobs, and from a long ball into the box.
Yeah. No, I think it's a good pick. Pearson's been great this season. The Keithley Cannavaro, as everyone's dubbing him. I say everyone. I don't. Do you use it in everyday conversation? Who knows? But anyway, enough from me. It's time for View from the Other Side. So I caught up with Cardiff City fan Tom Taylor ahead of the game, and here's what he had to say.
We've lost to a pub side. We've literally lost to a pub side.
Hi Tom, thanks for joining me. So Cardiff are in great form heading into this one. What has Steve Morrison done since becoming permanent manager?
To be fair to Morrison, he's really turned it around for us in the last couple of weeks. These were always going to be really important games at a really important time for us. We played quite a few teams who were sort of in and around our position, and a few big games in there as well. And I think he's done a great job of turning it around. He made great use of the loan market in January. I think with some of the incomings he's got, they're from, I think they're all quality players. He's really managed to sort of solidify our midfield. Especially with bringing in Tommy Doyle on loan from Man City and recalling Wintle from Blackpool. And I think just managing to solidify our midfield with making use of the January market and giving us a bit more firepower up top as well. And, he's managed to get us playing. I think he knows his best team now. He knows who's needs to play where and what everybody's strongest position is, and he's managed to get us playing a bit of football.
And what are you expecting from the game against Huddersfield?
I think it was going to be quite a tough game. Town have really impressed me this season, and especially with the game against Fulham on Saturday. I thought played brilliantly. I've had some decent results in the FA Cup as well, and you only have to look at the league to see how good of a season that Huddersfield are having. You guys are a quality team. I'll be completely honest, I didn't really see it come in after last season, but I've been proven wrong. I think quite a few teams have proven me wrong this year with how good they've been. And I think it's going to be quite a tricky one, even though Cardiff are a little bit of a bogey team for Huddersfield. We got the win at Cardiff City Stadium earlier in the season, even though we left it very late. I think it's going to be a tough game, but for both sides, I think we're almost like we could be each other's worst enemy at times, just with I think the styles we play.
And finally, where do you expect the game to be won and lost from a Cardiff perspective?
The last few games we've been notoriously slow starters, and if the first half performance from Huddersfield was anything to go by against Fulham, then if we're not on it from the word go, then it could be essentially, you can't win a game in the first half, but I think you can make it very, very difficult for yourself. And the way we've started in the last couple of weeks, even in games we've ended up winning, we've started really, really poorly. Like Barnsley away, we didn't start well. We didn't start well against Blackpool. Really didn't start well against Coventry at home. So I think we really need to be on it from the word go, just because how well recently Huddersfield have been starting games. If we can start well, and I think we will, because we just need to snap out of this habit of starting slowly, then I think we could win. And if I had to do a prediction, then I'd say 2-1 Cardiff in what's going to be a very close and very tight game.
Okay, so we heard from Tom. Now, it's it might be called the John Smith Stadium now, but we're going back in time because it's time for Return to the Mac.
Christopher Schindler has a chance to write his name in Huddersfield Town legend. De Potter's got the better. Yeah! And Laurent De Potter scored! What a goal, Aaron Moy! An absolute thunderbolt delivered all the way from Australia.
Return to the Mac.
So, gentlemen, who have you picked? Who are you bringing back from the past? Josh, I'll come to you as a fellow baseball cap wearer on this podcast. Tom, you're letting the side down.
Fellow couldn't bother to do his hair person. I'm going for a player who's played for both Town and Cardiff, Anthony Pilkington. Purely because I've seen quite a few videos over the last few days that kept popping up on social media of like 2010, 11, around that era, and he was bloody good, wasn't he? So I think if it's another game like Derby, that type of game where it could be like 0-0 after say 60, 70 minutes and gets to the point where we need to start having a few shots from range. Not many better we've seen down at the Mac than Anthony Pilkington.
Yeah, I love it. His name came up the other day, actually, because I was listening to something else, and he got the winner for Norwich against Man United at Old Trafford. Back when Man United, that meant something. So
good header, that. I think that was literally when he almost left, like quite not long after he'd left us, but I guess he left us with that injury as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
Though that were horrible that night, actually.
Yeah, it was. A bit of a gamble, wasn't it?
The Pilks. Yeah.
Gamble for Norwich to sign him because they didn't know how strong he was going to come back from his injury, but obviously he was just as good, probably if not better.
Yeah, lot of love for Pilks. Tom, who have you gone for?
Well, I'm throwing this one into the mix. This maybe won't make any sense, but I'm going off another key player for me from the kind of probably like 2004 to I think 2011-ish. Like a big change in the club happened from that point. I want to bring back from the Mac for Wednesday night the Terry the Terrier from that time, because we had that one, then we had Terry the Terrier who looked like a fox, and now we've got the new one who looks all right. But I missed the big fat headed one who had his girlfriend Tilly the Terrier. So I'm going for Terry the Terrier 2008 season.
What, to start?
No, just to replace the other Terry the Terrier.
Right. Okay, so you won't make any changes to the team. It's more
no,
support.
It's just a like morale for the fans. I think bring him out on Wednesday night. Everyone will be buzzing. Old Terry's back, does a few laps, puts off the opposition keeper. Sorted.
Okay. I think that's the first time we've ever had a mascot.
Well, I think I know. Is it the one with like the tongue out and it's like fluffy?
That's the
face?
one. That is the one. That is the one. He's he was great, that one.
Yeah, good lad.
Yeah.
Good fella.
Is that the huge head? Like the absolute massive head?
No,
Or is
that was going.
No.
No,
that's
yeah.
ridiculous. That one.
That's ridiculous. That one. This one. This one's a big head, but not as big as that. It was the one before the really weird fox that lasted about half a season. But yeah. Brady. I'm picking Terrier because I'm finding it even more difficult to do a return to the Mac at the moment. That's all.
Oh, mate, how do you think I feel?
Yeah, no.
I want to pick Aaron Moyer again. Okay, right. Well, yeah. Again, I feel like I've tried to. We're in February now. I've tried to keep some big guns back where I can. So this is a big gun. He's also an ambassador for the club at the moment. And I just think it's going to be one of them games, a bit like Derby, where we need something to go our way and you need someone for last minute. And I would bring on Michael Heffler because we all know how great he is, but just stick him up front for the last 10. You know, he can score a last minute goal like he did against Leeds. He can, do what he did against Rochdale. We played up front and get two. I just think his charisma. And I just want to see the celebration again with the claws, really. So I'd bring back Hef for this. But
bit of a claw theme going on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, I didn't want to call Hef a mascot because he's much more than that. But I suppose
What about Hef in the old Terry the Terrier mascot suit
up front?
Yeah.
That would be good. Can you imagine him just walking out, just no acknowledgement of it whatsoever. I've got to be honest. If Terry the Terrier wins out of Pilkington and Heffler, I follow the podcast. But we will see. We will see. Because it's time to move on. It's time for You're the Boss. So, gents, how are we lining up town for this one? So when we were doing the Fulham one, I think it's fair to say, Tom, me and you went a bit more defensive. I've not gone so defensive here. I'm going a bit more attacking because I've got to play the team that's on paper. They're below us in the league. So I'm going. Well, it depends on Colwill. So we don't know. And Carlos seems to keep his cards close to his chest a bit more with injuries now. So if Colwell's in, I'm going to a back three and having Pearson, Lees and Colwill. I'm starting Pieper. I've got Hogg, O'Brien and Toff. I'll bring back Toff for this. And then I'm going Thomas, Ward and Sinani just because I think Sinani's not playing great and I think Holmes is unlucky to miss out. But if you look at the stats, we win more when Sinani's in the team. So that's the reason behind that. What about you, Tom? Have you gone for something similar?
Yeah, so have you gone? Is it the 5-3-2 with Sauber and Pippa kind of?
I've gone 3-4-3.
3-4-3, right? Yeah. So I guess I'd do the 5-3-2 and have Sauber and Pippa either side, just because I think Sauber's did a job when he was defending, and I'd trust Pippa, and I just think he's better getting forward. So I'd have those two on attacking fullbacks. Then Hogg and O'Brien, and then so I've got that three in the middle, but I think I'd give Aitin a shout. And then I've gone two up top, and I've gone Ward and Rhodes at the same time. I want to see that happen, and I think the way that Cardiff team is, that experience, and if Sauber and Aitin have got their delivery on point, those two are gonna have a good game against that kind of defense because they're experienced. They know what they're up against. I think they'll use some old tricks, old striking tricks against the likes of Flint and stuff. So a bit of a 5-3-2, but definitely more attacking. I think we've got to go for it. We've got to go for it. I think that formation against Sheffield United was good, but you've got to look at the form, the table, and where Cardiff are in the league, and we need the 3 points. So attack.
Yeah, like it. Get it forward, as we would all know. No, that's interesting. I think we've seen Carlos play Warden Roads together, not often, but he has done it in the past. So no, good shout. Josh, are you doing anything interesting with your lineup?
Well, I'm taking a bit more of a view that the last home game we played, I thought was one of our probably best performances of the season. If we'd scored, we'd definitely be saying that. Just a bit of bad luck with the goal, penalty, and a bit of bad decision making. So I'm playing the same formation and the same team as against Sheffield United with a couple of changes. I'd have Toffolo in for Ruffles, and Karoma out for Sinani or Holmes. Sinani. So that's just because Karoma, I thought he made too many bad decisions. But then I'm thinking, do you keep him in, try and play him into form? In fact, I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to do that. Exact same teams against Sheffield United with Toffolo in for Ruffles. And that's not a slight on Ruffles, just because I just like Toffolo.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. You talked about Karoma there. Why do you think he is out of form? I think it's a bit, I don't know, that's kind of, obviously we're on an unbeaten run, so it doesn't really matter. But for me, it kind of seems like he's trying too hard.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think?
I think it's often said that, isn't it? It's a little bit of a cliche, but I think once you make one bad decision in a game, the pressure's on the next one. And if you get that one wrong, there's even more pressure on the next one. You know, the worst decision he made was in the second half, when I don't know why he didn't just slide Thomas in when we had 3-on-2.
He even had an option to his left as well, Josh. Maybe that was it. He couldn't decide, but still, there were two. The Thomas option was so simple. Yeah,
it was simple. It's just not seeing the picture clearly, is it? When you're not in his confidence or just bad form, or But I think, I don't know, if he got dropped, there could be no complaints. But maybe just let him keep going, let him get a goal, and then we'll see him back to his best, which we need if we're going to keep getting results towards the end of the season, because we will need him.
It's an interesting one, that as well, because like you say, he's not in form. Obviously, there was rumours of him leaving in Jan, and I don't know how if there was any substance to those. And he is out of contract in the summer. I know we've got a year's extension, but it's an interesting one, that. So, not that I'm trying to cause trouble, because we've got hot takes for that. So we'll move on to that in a sec. But I suppose we'll talk about match, how we see the game going now. So our match predictions. So Tom, how do you see this one going?
I do think Town will win. I think it'll be a difficult game. I think Josh touched on it earlier with a similar potentially to the Derby game. I think the way Cardiff look like they've been playing away from home, especially Millwall and Barnsley recently, kind of trying to get something in the last quarter of the game. So I think a 2-0 win for Town. I'm fingers crossed on that. I wouldn't put it past it being a draw though, but I'm going 2-0.
Yeah, no, good point. I agree. I think it's going to be like the Derby game. We're just going to have to bide our time and be patient. And I think I would stress that, like, I know the Derby game, I was there, it was annoying, but like, we will get the chances. It's just, this is it now. When you're a playoff team and doing well, and teams coming to you away from home, they're going to set up to stop you early and be defensive. So
I think the thing as well, Brady, and like we're going for those playoffs, they're safe now as well. And I wonder if, especially if they have got a result against Blackpool on Saturday, then the pressure's definitely off them, because the gap between them and the bottom three now is, what is it? 12 points? I can't remember. So I think hopefully they'll be relaxing a bit more. They're not scraping around for the 3 points anymore. So yeah.
Yeah, here's hoping. I've got 1-0. I think it's going to be tight, and I'm going to go Wardy to score against his former club. So that's my prediction. Josh, how do you see this going? Similar?
Well, I can feel that the mood among the fan base is changing a bit now. So all this season it's been like, yeah, we're doing great, but we're not going to make the playoffs. We're not going to make playoffs. And now we're getting to a point in the season where it's actually a realistic opportunity now to make the playoffs. And for that reason, I think there might be a bit of anxiety because we know that we need to win this game if we're going to, improve our chances of reaching the playoffs. So I think if we don't get an early goal, it could be quite a frustrating evening. But I do fancy us to eventually break them down. So I'm going to go 1-0 with a late goal from, I'll go for Rhodes off the bench.
Oh, nice. I like how we're all slightly negative, even though we've all predicted wins. I think this is it.
It's a tough game, though, isn't it? Tough game. They're like, look at their squad. I think they've got a good squad. We were mentioning before recording, have they still got that kind of new manager bounce going? Or is Morrison actually doing quite a good job? Because he's had a few games now, hasn't he? So
yeah, I think he's permanent now as well, isn't he? So we will see. We'll see. Anyway, I hope you're all properly hydrated because it's time for hot takes.
Big bleak hot, mate. Big bleak hot, mate.
Yep, so this is hot takes, part where you share the spicy opinions you have about Huddersfield Town with your reason why, and we will debate it on the pod. Hot takes will be anonymous. I must stress that because some of these opinions are very controversial. So if you do want to submit your hot take, don't forget to email Brady at takesthatchance.com for a chance to be featured. So, gents, this hot take is taking a shot at the Huddersfield Town fan base. So be warned, the temperature might rise. The hot take is this. Huddersfield Town fans are very critical of homegrown players. Scott High has taken a lot of stick this season despite playing decent in our unbeaten run. I think the fans need to stop being so negative. Oh, so it's not a reaction from Tom. It's not a
I actually agree with this hot take.
Oh dear. Okay.
I do think we put a lot of pressure on homegrown players for some reason. I don't know why it is, but we do. I don't. And I wouldn't say Scott High's been amazing, but I think you've always got to remember that these are lads that are coming in who haven't played senior football yet, and they're learning. And it takes time, doesn't it? It takes time. I could have wrote that hot take, Brady, to be fair.
Let's stress you didn't, though.
Yeah, I didn't write that.
But yeah, no, that's interesting. I mean, I was having a look. Scott High's played 20 games for us in the league and only started in 13. And I think what I would say about Scott High is I think he's much better when he starts than when he comes on.
Totally agree with that. It's like he's not motivated when he comes on. I'm sure he is motivated, but it just doesn't convey when he's on the ball. He's a bit slow when he comes on. Maybe he prefers starting from the off. But I rate him. I think there's something there. There's something that could come really good. His touch, his turn, and some of his passing has been great this season. I just think he could be a bit more ruthless when he's had a couple of shots and a couple of chances and they've just been a bit tame. But I think he will come good a couple of seasons.
Yeah. I mean, no, I agree. I think, like you say, maybe it's just when he comes on, he can't really get up to pace with the game. But he's a young lad, you've got to give him time. Josh, do you agree with this hot take that people are too critical, or are you like, nah?
I don't know whether I agree or disagree, but I'll tell you my thoughts.
Okay.
So most academy players that you get through, majority of them end up playing at a lower level. Some of them go on to play at a much higher level. It's rare that you get someone who just stays from the academy and stays with the club throughout the career. So for that reason, you've got people like Lewis O'Brien, academy product, probably going to go on, get sold for 10+ million. And then you look through history at the players that have come through the academy, played a few games for Town, ended up at Harrogate or whatever. So I think that's what people are thinking with academy players. They're either too good for us or they're not good enough for us. So I think people have made a decision one way or the other on Scott High that he's probably going to be one of the ones that ends up playing at a lower level. And for that reason, people have got it, in the head. He's not good enough. I think there is something there with him. I don't think he commands the game well enough at the moment. I think he needs another loan. Also, the fact that he went on loan to Shrewsbury and couldn't get in their team, I think fans are looking at that and thinking, if he can't get in their team, why is he in ours? Although it's not, different players are suited to different levels, but I think he does need another loan, a team that keeps the ball, whether that's in League One or League Two. I think he needs to dictate a game. But yeah, I think they are probably too critical, but they probably don't think he's good enough. So it's fair enough, I suppose. But yeah, I don't agree with like saying, "Oh, Russell's good and High's awful." It's not as clean cut as that. Russell's settled into this team better, but you look at him, he couldn't get in Accrington's team, so it's not always. Nichols couldn't get in MK Dons team for whatever reason. So just because someone can't make it at one level doesn't mean they can't make it at level above. But yeah, my main point is academy players either go one way or another. So people make that judgment. They're either amazing or they're not good enough.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point, what you're saying about loans and stuff. Like maybe Scott High does need the loan, but I think, I have to give credit to the club. They've seemed to have been doing a lot better with the loans and loaning people out. Long time coming for me, to be honest, but it is positive. But
yeah,
I think that with loans, people forget that it might not be a successful loan, but that doesn't mean it's about getting that experience. If you're not paying and playing for 3 points on a Saturday for a team that cares. So yeah, I again, I think we're all agreeing with a hot take, but we're all got the same opinion. But I do think we are a bit harsh, like you say, Josh. Like not every player is going to make it. I think as well, we're lucky because Lewis is so good. So Lewis, every player that's homegrown is going to get compared to Lewis because he went to Bradford. He was their player of the season pretty much. They didn't award it because they obviously got relegated, but it was pretty much in agreement. And I just think it's hard to compare because Scott High isn't Lewis O'Brien, but that doesn't mean he can't be his own player. And to be honest, I have a sneaky suspicion if O'Brien does go in the summer, I think Scott High might play a bit more. It might be better because we'll have to change the midfield. And I think Scott High's issue is sometimes he's being asked to do Hoggy's job and O'Brien's job, and I don't think he can do either or. I think he needs to kind of make his own position because, like you say, Tom, he's made some great passes, like pre-assists as they call. He's been really involved in that. So
I think as well, it is all timing as well. I'm thinking of some other players who have got. I mean, we've got Dwayne Holmes back. When he left, everyone kind of wrote him off and thought, oh, he's just a League One, League Two player. We've ended up buying him back. And then I look at like Matt Crooks at Borough, absolutely bossing it. You've got to give people time. I get maybe calling it out when they're in the squad and you've got other options. I totally get that. But you have got to give players some time, but you've got to be able to afford that time yourself, if that makes sense. You're not going to send a player out on loan for 3-4 years, are you? I guess that was the case with like Holmes and Crooks. In the end, it was like they weren't good enough for the Championship at that point. And you're not going to keep them hanging around for 5 years until they do reach that level. So it's ifs and buts and maybes, I guess.
Yeah, Holmes and Crooks are interesting because they both dropped to a lower level and improved the game massively. I think we should have signed Matt Crooks in the summer.
Yeah, I really thought we would have, Josh. I really thought we would have. Because look at him at Borough now, and he was at the end of that season with Rotherham. He was their best player, wasn't he?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we can. I think we did well as to not get any Scott High puns in there as well. So well done to us. Nearly thought of slipping one in there, but I think we've heard enough of my crap jokes. So I think we'll call it there. So cheers to Tom and Josh for coming on. Thanks to you all for listening. And of course, thanks to Magic Rock, who sponsored this episode. I will be down there before the game, for the Cardiff game. So Yeah, always good to go for a pint before. So yeah, we'll be back to preview the Burnham game. So ta-ta for now and up the town.
There's a team that is dear to its followers. The colours are bright blue and white. They're a team of renown, and they're the pride of the town. And the game of football is their delight. And all the while upon the field of play, thousands loudly cheer them on the way. Often you can hear them say, who can beat the town today? And then the bells will ring so merrily, and every goal shall be a memory. So town, play up and bring that cup back to Huddersfield. So town, play up and bring the cup back to Huddersfield.